Hey Failings, Callan Thorne here, the Fairy Witch Boy. I'm just here to talk to you about these wonderful creatures, beings, entities, spirits. So I'm here to talk to you about the Fae, and how I work with the Fae, and what working with the Fae means to me. I'm doing this, series on my channel of working with the Fae and how one works with the Fae etiquettes. I've got that video already out, which I will link up somewhere up here, around here, so you can watch that video. And I go over the etiquettes and all of that of working with the Fae in that video. So, then guidelines. There we go. Guidelines of working with the Fae. Excuse me. I'm dealing with some major allergies. Like at night, allergies decide to skyrocket. Sorry about the lighting in here. I do not have natural light. It is 12:19 a.m. as of this minute. So, anyways, back to the video. This is Kalula. She is not quite sure what type of fae she is. She's just a fairy. As of right now, I'm still working with her, still learning her energies and how she wants to be worked with. She's joining us for this video. She's just over here sitting down, because I don't want to sit there and hold a statue the entire video. Now, let's first define what the Fae are, or what a fairy is. In my experience, it's a nature spirit, a spirit of nature from the unseen world, or the invisible world, or the world that overlaps our own. At one point in time, our two worlds were combined, and then throughout history, they left our world because of the mistreatment of humans doing to them. Not all humans, of course, but when enough people do something to drive out another group or another species, they, take over that land, and then they have to move somewhere else. And the Fae decided to go to, quite literally, jump dimensions. But they still cross over. They still come to us and will work with us, depending on the Fae. So you have Seelie and Unseelie. This is used to describe good and bad Fae. This is the dumbed down version of it. It's so much more complex than that. Really, the Seelie are the Fae that don't mind helping humans and actually like humans still and want to build a relationship with humans. The Unseelie are the Fae that don't they don't trust us. They don't like us. They don't want to help us. In most cases. Now, again, the Fae, like humans, we all have our own personalities. So if a Unseelie starts to trust you enough, they may decide to work with you. But in general, they will have very negative views of humans. Whereas the Seelie will have more of a neutral standpoint, or more of a positive neutral standpoint. If you look at it on a scale of 1 to 5, the Unseelie are more of, 3 to 5, most being within the 4 to 5 range. The Seelie being 2 to 3. You will never truly meet a Fae that completely and 100% trusts humans at that one scale. And that's just because of history and the way that people were treated. And, it's human history is dark, to say the least. There's positive, but there is a lot of negative. There is a lot of wars and conflict and destruction within human history. And unfortunately, that affected our brothers and sisters of the fairy. So, how do I incorporate them into my practice is I incorporate them in, hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. I got a message that came through. Um, Sorry about that. So where was I? Uh-oh. Um, oh, I was talking about how I incorporate the Fae. I'm really sorry. I know it's kind of shaky, and I'm really, really sorry about that. I incorporate the Fae one. I do fairy Reiki. I was attuned and gained my mastery within fairy Reiki. Um, so I use Fae energy to heal people. I call upon Fae energies during my readings. Whenever I do magical workings now, it's usually alongside calling upon the Fae and having Fae energy help me with healing. I have my own personal fairy guide, as many people do. These are Fae that come to us to help us and aid us, of course, for something in return, but depending on the Fae, you will learn what that is for you and what it means to you if you decide to go down the road of finding what your Fae guide is. Um, I have Kalula here, I have Kato, and all of that. Um, they are not fairy guides for me, but they are Fae entities that I work with and that I will, you know, call upon their energies during my magical workings, whatever that may be. For just about anything they can be used for. Now you're gonna want to call upon the correct Fae. So, for example, if I'm casting a circle and I do the quarter call, I will actually call upon the fairy spirits of that. So, salamander for fire, undine for water, sylph for air, and gnome for earth. Golem is what our earth is known as well, and I'll call upon those during my calls now instead of just earth, water, fire, and air. When it comes to spirit, I call upon my higher self in terms of spirit, or if I'm wishing deity to join me, I will call upon hell or another deity that I am working with at that time or need the energy of. Um, So say I'm just doing a circle. I will go to, I will always start off in the east. This is how I do it. I prefer to start off in the east and then move clockwise. So I'll go to the east and call upon Sylph. Then I will go to the north and call upon Golem or Gnome. I will go to the west and call upon Undine. And then I will go to the south and call upon Salamander or Salamandra. Um, a couple of different name variations in there for many of them. Now, these are the physical embodiments, the fairy physical embodiments of the elements. There may be multiple Undines. There may be multiple Salamanders. There may be multiple Golems and Gnomes. And there's maybe multiple Sylphs. But, these are the elements that come forward and that will answer a call and answer the call. So whichever, Sylph wants to join me in that circle will come forth. I always show my gratitude and give something in return, whether that be an offering, whether that be some of my own energy, or a place upon my altar. They seem to really enjoy that as well, being placed upon the altar for me. Again, we're all different and we all follow different paths. And the way we work with these creatures is different, and these beings is different. And I keep calling them creatures. And the reason for that is because everyone and everything is a creature. If it's alive and has sentience, it's a creature in my eyes. This doesn't mean that it's. But I digress. That's just what I will say. Some people may find that offensive and not use it. Some Fae might find that offensive. It, but it's. So we all have our own practices and our own way of doing things. So for the most part, that's how I use the Fae within my magic. But I will oftentimes, again, just use fairy energy within my working. So I will, call upon the symbol of the fairy Reiki symbols. I will call upon those when I'm doing a working and infuse whatever working I'm doing with that energy. So fairy Reiki calls upon, unlike other forms of Reiki where you call upon the higher power and all of that, I am calling upon the Fae and the Isle of Avalon's energy and bringing that into my practice and flowing through me into whatever I'm working on. Fairy Reiki is a healing modality, so it's usually going to be used in healing. Me personally, I wouldn't call upon the energies of fairy Reiki for a negative working. Now that does not mean if I was to do a negative working, which I don't have a problem with doing negative workings. I think there is a time and a place for all forms of magic, and it's all upon the intention we put into it. And our reasons behind it and how we justify it. I believe in karma, but I don't believe in the threefold law. Again, I'm getting off track here. Sorry, guys. It is late, and I'm tired, and the screen keeps shaking, and my eyes are starting to go blurry. We're gonna have to wrap up soon, but I would call upon the Fae for negative workings. I have no problem doing that. If I felt the need arise and I wanted to use their energy within that working. Not all Fae are positive. Just like not all angels are positive, or not all Jinn are negative. Jinn are more of like a chaotic neutral. But Jinn are actually considered fairies within many traditions. Um, so, I would call upon, a fairy that would be okay with providing that energy for a negative working. If I was to call upon the fairies, I would make sure they are okay with it, whatever working I'm deciding to do. Not all Fae want to do the same type of workings. There's some Fae who do not want to do love workings. Now I rarely ever use love magic. I think that there's better things to do compared to that, but do your own path, follow your own path, follow the path that is right for you. Same old, same old. Do what you have to do to make your magic work and what your intentions are. We are, every single one of us, whether we come from the same traditions, whether we are trained by the same people, we all have our own path to follow. Now I know this is kind of like a more of a short video. I just kind of wanted to go over on how I incorporate them. Plan on doing a video on fairy bottles and what those can be used for. Um, you know, I plan on showing you my altar at some point. It's not quite done yet, so I want to wait until I finish it. But yeah, it's again just what you feel and what you know is right. And trust me, the Fae will tell you if they are not okay with something. But you have to remember, if you're calling upon the Fae into your space, you're inviting them in. Fae are not like other spirits where you can just shoosh them away. Some Fae will leave if you tell them to, and you do some workings that they don't necessarily like or don't want to be around, or they know that they're not welcomed. They will leave, but not all Fae. And then you kind of have to do some higher workings and some higher magic to rid them of your home. But they will see that, oh, you kicked me out. That Fae won't come back then when you want them to. You can make contracts with the Fae. That is one thing that I want to talk about real quick. And I'll do a whole video on it, but I want to go through a quick, just like, overview before. Making a contract with the Fae. One, make sure that Fae is present, and they are getting everything. They are getting a fair trade out of the deal, same as you. Make sure that you're getting what you need and it's fair. Law of equivalent exchange. You want to do this because the Fae are notorious for twisting words, so be as specific as possible. And again, never give out your true name. This is why we have magical names, because of working with entities that we don't want them to know our true names. And they will never give you theirs. I don't want to say never. Most likely, they will never give you their true names. Because, again, that's very sacred. That gives you power over them, and that gives them power over you if you were to give yours. In which case, it's a lot harder to get rid of them. But when you have that contract made, I have a lifelong contract with a Fae, and I'm okay with inviting that energy into my life for the rest of my life. Um, it's a fair trade, in my opinion, for what they are doing for me. So once you make those contracts, you are bound by those rules that you and the Fae set within the bounds of the bindings of that contract. If you break that oath, the Fae can be very spiteful and very vengeful. And you actually hurt a lot of practitioners by doing that. A lot of fairy practitioners, those who incorporate the Fae into their magic, you actually hurt us by breaking a contract, because then that's another reason for the Fae to distrust humans. The Fae are also understanding, though. They're not going to keep you to a word that you physically can't do. Therefore, that should never be input into the contract. Don't lie. Don't promise something that you can't deliver on. They will know, and they'll let you know that that is not a fair trade. Because the Fae can be very fair. The Fae will always try to come out ahead, though. It's business. So, but again, I'll go over like how to do a contract, how to make a contract, and all of that in a later video. Tell me, what kind of videos do you want to watch down below, and I will make more videos on things you all want to know and want to watch, especially pertaining to the Fae. I really enjoy making these videos, especially about the Fae, but about witchcraft in general. I, that's what this channel is witchcraft, tarot, oracle, all of the fun stuff that we do here. So, I think that's going to wrap up this video. Remember to like and subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell notification, because I will be posting videos regularly. Doing my best to post videos regularly. Again, that don't make a promise that you might not be able to keep. And I've been sponsored by Britain Smiles. They uh, I started using their product to whiten my teeth, and honestly, I've been enjoying it. It seems to work wonders. So, if you want to, and I'll do a review on their product too, because I really do think that, it's a really good product. But there'll be a link in the description, as well as a code. It'll be FAERIES. The code will also be down in the description, and you can get 25% off your order using my code. So it's fairies as FAERIES, all caps. So um, yeah, use that code, especially if you know you've got staining. If you're a coffee or a tea drinker, you know what I mean. Um, this is a great product to whiten your teeth safely. But this video went on much longer than I had wanted it to. So I hope you all have a great night, day, whenever you watch this. You know, live in the light but dance in the shadows, as I always say. You know, gotta have fun and enjoy life. Do things that are in your greater good. And we will see you next time. Bye, guys.